Hi guys, it's Mike at youarethepath.com. Got a few things to say, so let's see if I can put this across into some kind of message for you guys. So I guess I'll start where I am right now, and past few days and how I am right now, I don't know, I think I'm feeling kind of emotional, kind of mixed emotions. And one thing that springs to mind is when you're going through change, you go through a little bit of chaos because the old reality falls away to make way for the new reality. So you're going to come against a little bit of chaos and maybe not knowing quite who you are because you're changing as a person, and that can be a little bit unnerving, and you may feel a little vulnerable as you go through this change because you're having to be like a bit of a baby because you're starting again. If you just continue doing what you always do, then you'll never be tested. And to go through change, to make way for something greater, means starting again. But everybody has to start somewhere. I think a little bit of what I've been feeling is because I had one or two negative comments. Well, not necessarily negative comments, but people who didn't agree with the last video. And there's a tendency within me to defend myself, and I'll try and think of something smart to say, maybe some smart quotes to kind of hit them with. And the thing is, the reality is in everybody's mind, everybody thinks that they're right. We all think that we know what's right. And I'm just reminded by something that Brian Katie talks about. I think she says that the first act of war is defense. So if someone says to you, "Oh, you're hurting me with what you're saying, don't hurt me, rah, rah, rah." If you say, "Oh, I'm not hurting you, what are you talking about, blah, blah, blah," you're in this kind of war. But if when somebody says to that, "Don't hurt me," Brian Katie says, your response should be, "Okay, I don't want to hurt you. What do you suggest we do?" So if you've got a YouTube channel and you're putting out information to help people and you're getting some people who are dissing it, cut the umbilical cord. Don't try and change people because you're just going to wind yourself up and it's a waste of energy. Just do what you're doing, and the people that are resonating with it will want to listen to what you're saying, and they can take what works for them and it can help their evolution. So, and the other thing why I think I'm feeling this, I don't know, I'm just feeling it's a little bit of a low feeling in my stomach now. Your body and your intuition will guide you when you're feeling low. It's like a guidance system. It's telling you that something's not quite right. And I think it's because I'm not living in alignment to my highest values. Past few nights I haven't been doing the candle focus. Past 2 nights I think I've come up with some excuses, and I've not been waking up as early as I would have liked to. And I find myself wanting to go to work early to get a coffee. We've got a coffee machine at work, And this is what we do to cover up how we feel. We use drugs, coffee, stimulants, sex, alcohol, tobacco, and all these things we use as distractions. Now, no amount of coffee is going to make up for the fact that you're not living in alignment to your values, and that's what I told myself. Now, I've worked, as you know, I'm taking up the raw foods, and it's amazing, man. I sat down last night with my lettuce leaves, rocket leaves, and it's like, like when you've got like an aura around something. You see these old paintings in churches and everyone's got like an aura around the head. It's like the plate was glowing, and the green, it was just like so vivid. I don't know if any of you guys have experienced that. It's like the plate was alive. So when they say it's like live, living food, it's like really alive. It's like electricity was beaming off the food. You can't get that from these packaged foods. So yeah, living in alignment to your values. The world will give you feedback. I've been looking at some stuff on the internet. I like taking in knowledge, and I've been looking at some stuff about, maritime law and how you need a birth certificate and stuff. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. I don't want to use my channel to talk about that kind of stuff, but in a nutshell, I've been looking at some stuff on the internet that just confirms to me that, you know, it's pretty messed up, the world right now. And we've got to take responsibility and take responsibility for our own lives. Okay, you know, individually it's hard to try and change. You can't really change the world individually. And if it upsets you how messed up the world is, all we can really do is take responsibility for ourselves. So I know that I've got to do this spiritual work so that I can, raise my consciousness to the point where I will be able to heal myself and heal others. It's no good me looking at the world and blaming everything on Illuminati and just blaming it all on the government. And there are forces out there, but for the large part we hold it up. We need to stop playing their game, because we've held it up for all this time, but now game's coming to an end. But rather than getting upset at what's going on in the world and everything, just take responsibility. Let's take responsibility for ourselves. Let's look after our bodies. Don't do what we know is harmful to the body, or at least resolve that we're going to change. We're going to start instilling new good habits. At the same time, don't beat yourself up. If you have some bad habits, tackle it one at a time. This is what you say to yourself. You say, okay, I'm a spirit living in a body. I am a chemical being. My body has chemical addictions. It has its own cravings. But this one thing, I'm going to keep this clean. I ain't going to let any of that in here. I'm going to keep this one thing clean. And you take it a step at a time. You tackle each vice one at a time. And then your mind is quieter. You don't have this battle going on in your mind. Should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? I wish I hadn't have done it. And then feeling low that you've done it. And just, you're freeing up energy to take on something greater.